everyone. Welcome to this chat about ChatGPT and how personal trainers can grow their fitness business. I am Dr. Ted Vicky. Some of you know me. I ran the fitness center at the White House for 11 years. Hi, Rob. How are you today? So I have a keen interest in technology. In fact, back in the late 90s, I was using technology at the White House when I couldn't fly around with the president. I tried to find ways in which I could be part of their exercise habits. So ChatGPT, you've probably heard of it. It's making news all around the world. It is, in my opinion, one of the things that we as personal trainers, if we learn how to use it properly, it's a game changer. And I'm going to go through some slides, some statistics for you today. Then we're going to get on and I'm going to do a live I'm going to try to do a live session of real-time ChatGPT, and I'll get some input from you that are watching this. If you're watching this on a replay, you can follow along and do it yourself. So let me share my screen. And Rob, I'm looking at you. Do you see the title slide? Great, perfect. So today's agenda, we're going to do an intro. What is ChatGPT? Getting started using ChatGPT, and then we're going to do a Q&A at the end. By the way, I used ChatGPT to create this PowerPoint presentation. What would have taken me probably 2 hours took, I want to say 15 minutes. So, a personal trainer, you have value for your time. Imagine if you can find things that you can use ChatGPT for to free up your time so you can be on the floor, you can be training the clients. Hopefully after today's webinar, you'll find out ways that you can do that. I'm going to admit some other people coming in. They will be joining us. Thank you for being here. So I am Dr. Ted Vicky. I started my fitness career after graduating from Penn State with a degree in exercise and sports science. And at age 24, I started my first company, and I was the executive director of the White House Athletic Center for 3 presidents. I grew that fitness management company, sold in 2008. And then I moved to Ireland to play a lot of golf and also to earn a master's in international business and entrepreneurship and a PhD in wearables and fitness data. So I've been looking at things like this for a long time. In fact, I'm also the senior advisor for fitness technology for the American Council on Exercise. So one of the things I do for ACE is I am always looking for ways that technology can improve and help personal trainers work smarter, not harder. I also teach fitness entrepreneurship technology at 3 different universities. And recently, last year, was the expert witness for Mark Zuckerberg in the Meta case, which was an amazing opportunity. And we'll chat about that some other time if you'd like. So what is ChatGPT? It is a powerful tool that can help you unlock creativity, explore new ideas, and save time. I think the last 2 are the most important, new ideas. So one of the things I use ChatGPT for, I do a lot of writing. And when I'm writing, I have gotten into writer's block. Some of you may have as well. So now what I do is when I have a topic, I will go to ChatGPT and say, I'll brainstorm, and I'll say, give me some ideas on how a personal trainer can use technology in their business. And it will sit there and it will tell me, it'll give me some ideas of how I can use, or how I can give me titles that I could use for what I'm trying to write. So one of the things you could do is use it for a brainstorming tool. The second one, and I said it earlier, is to save time. I estimate of the projects that I can use ChatGPT for, I'm saving anywhere from 70 to 75% of the time. And we're going to show that at the end and go through some examples of how you can do that. So it is an AI-based text response generator. Now, you hear AI and everyone thinks, oh, this is the Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger's going to come in here and take over the world. It's not that, folks. It is a much, much more simpler tool. It can read and understand language like you and I do, and it's getting data. from sources that are online, but the key here is that ChatGPT is not connected to online. So what they did was they trained this software, ChatGPT, and it's trained up until 2021. So if you ask it anything after 2021, it's not going to know. So if you ask who won the Padres game last night, it's not going to know that. Now, there's another service that Google has called Bard, B-A-R-D. That one is connected to the internet. So you could ask it who won the game last night and it will tell you. So that's one of the limitations of ChatGPT. So it's an amazing tool for communications and for learning. Let's take a look at the timeline. This is a brand new tool, folks. I mean, it started in November of 2022. And when I say November, it was the end of November. In February, they launched the ChatGPT Plus, and it's now included in Bing. So if you Google things, well, if you Google using Bing, you can also use ChatGPT. They came out with ChatGPT 4, which I've been playing around with. I'm still a fan of the earlier versions. And as of last month, over 100 million users. Now, 100 million users. That may seem rather daunting. Let's take a look at how long it's taken for platforms to reach 100 million. Netflix started in 99, took 3.5 years. ChatGPT, 5 days. It took 5 days to get 100 million users. That is rather incredible. It's an incredible feat to have. If you look over time of the website views, 152 million in November, it's up to 1.8 billion visits as of May 23. So this is a tool that a lot of people are out there using, and a lot of people are finding ways to save time and money. So there are 3 limitations that I came up with when it comes to ChatGPT. The first is there are no citations. So as personal trainers, health coaches, one of the things that we must really make sure is that what we are telling our clients is actually true. It's valid. So ChatGPT sometimes will give you a little bit of information that seems a little too good to be true. So my recommendation is you always want to find the source for it. You can actually ask ChatGPT, give me the source for that information. And if it has it, it'll tell you. So you have to be very particular. You have to ask that. It's also very sensitive to what you ask. Remember that old saying, garbage in, garbage out? Well, for ChatGPT, it is absolutely true. If you ask a simple question like, write me a blog post on golf fitness, it will. But if you enhance that by giving some additional phrasing like, you are an expert personal trainer on golf fitness, give me 13 exercises for a personal trainer who's 50 years old with knee pain, it'll do that for you. So the more you can be specific, the better the results. And then, as I mentioned earlier, it is a little bit outdated. So it is information a little 2 years old. Now, ChatGPT is now allowing add-ins, like Chrome add-ins that you have on your browser. Those add-ins can actually connect to the internet and you can get information, but ChatGPT, the tool itself, does not have that ability. So we're going to cover some basic stuff here today. I will be doing some other workshops later on, some advanced features of ChatGPT for personal trainers, but I wanted to just start with what are the simple things that we can do and we can use. So if you go to the website, openai.com, this is what you'll see. Upper right-hand corner, you have a sign up and a login button. So if you click the sign up button, it'll take you through a process here. You can enter your email address, or you can use your Google or Microsoft account. You use Apple if you want. Then you'll come to the main screen, which is this. At the top, you'll see that you have 2 options, ChatGPT 3.5 and 4. I've been using the paid version. I used it the last month. I really didn't see a difference between the paid and the free, so I'm not going to renew that. So I tried it for you. As of today, I don't think it's an expense that we need to have. So all the things I'm showing you today, you can do on the free version. If you look at the bottom where it says send a message, this is where you type what you want ChatGPT to do. This is the text box. And look at the bottom there, they do give a disclaimer. May produce inaccurate information about people, places, or facts. So you could click that little link and it'll give you more description. So just remember that. If you're using this, some of the things may not be true. Always go back and make sure that what you're putting out there is valid. And then you are going to type in there what's called a prompt. So the prompt I used here is, why should a personal trainer use ChatGPT? Okay. After that, you hit enter, and it will give you a response to why should a personal trainer use ChatGPT. Now let's take a look at some examples of this. This is what it will look like. So the top, number one, shows you the prompt area. Steve can't see the content, only a black screen. Anyone else have a black screen, or do you see my slide deck? Okay, there's a slide deck. So Steve, we'll get back to you, and I will make sure that you get copies of these slides. So the bottom gives you Steve, I'll explain the slides a little bit more detail so you can follow along as well as we go through this. So the prompt was, number one, explain ChatGPT in 3 bullet points to a teenager. So we were real specific here. I wanted bullet points. I wanted to be something a teenager could understand. And then you can see it gave 3 very simple bullet points that you could use for a teenager. Now, ChatGPT is smart enough to know that if you said, explain ChatGPT in 3 bullet points to a teenager and bold the verbs in your response, it'll do that. So you can be very, very specific and actually create a lot of interesting ways to do this. You can do a number list, you can do bullet points, you can write paragraphs, you can write an essay, all sorts of things, but that has to be included in that prompt, as I have been telling you. So here, number 2 is what ChatGPT gives back to you as a response. So if you look where the arrow is pointing, that little clipboard, you click that, and that will copy everything that ChatGPT said, and then you can go into Word, whatever word processor, Google Slides, and you can paste it from there. So if you just copy and paste it from the response itself, sometimes it would give you a hazy background, like a gray background. So if you use the copy and paste function, it will not have that. And then giving the up thumb or the down thumb, that just helps ChatGPT learn what is going on, and it'll then become smarter as it goes through. So think of it that way. This ChatGPT is always learning. So the more people are using it, the more powerful it will become. Welcome back, Steve. So this is a prompt. It may look rather complex, but if you really break it down, it's not. So I use the little open paren, close paren in this. So let's go through this real quick. I've defined there are 4 different writing styles: essay writing, descriptive writing, narrative writing, and persuasive writing. Okay, so that is the actual text. I'm sorry, that's the writing style. So understand the context in text. So I'm going to have to input the text there someplace and convert the text into a writing style. The writing style is one of the 4 under the green highlight. Use the techniques and concepts that are used in that writing style and apply them to the topics to get the most out of the text. Make sure the converted text is unique and interesting. Now, there are a lot of people out there that are creating these prompts. They're free. You can Google them. I have a whole list that I've kept, and I'm going to send those out to anyone that's been on this chat. But this is an example of a very specific ChatGPT prompt. Now, let's take a look at what the results look like. So last week, I was at the US Open. I was with my friend Bob Herrig from Sports Illustrated, and I was showing him, he's been a sports writer for 20 years, and I was showing him ChatGPT. So here's what we did. This is an article on Sports Illustrated that Bob had written 10 minutes before I sat down with him. So there's more to this that you'll see in a second here. So I copied this from the website Sports Illustrated. This is the actual text that Bob wrote. So, I don't know how many words that is, but it was a good sized blog post. Now I said, Bob, watch this. I went back to that prompt. Remember the prompt I told you about the descriptive and the text? I said, write this text, what Bob wrote, as an essay. Here's what it did. Through the realm of golf, few figures have maintained an enduring popularity as quite like Ricky Fowler. And by the way, it did this in 5 seconds. Okay, I said, great, that's an essay. Bob, let's see what it looks like as a descriptive style. Amidst the tapestry of golf glamour, Ricky Fowler emerges as a figure in the undying popularity and unwavering composure. Again, took 5 seconds. I then said, let's look at it from a narrative. Boom, here it is. Now remember, it took the whole thing. I just copied the first 2 paragraphs for you here. Once upon a time, in the captivating realm of golf, a legendary figure emerged. And then the last one, I said, let's look at it persuasively. Picture this, a golfer whose popularity knows no bounds. The only text that we used was I copied what Bob had written on the website. I defined that as a text. And you see within 20 seconds, I got 4 different writing styles. So think about that. You can repurpose your blog post. You can repurpose your social media posts. Everything that you're writing, if you want to update it, want to make it look fresh, you could run it through a ChatGPT, tell it to change a little bit, and it will do that. It'll do it in a matter of seconds. A couple of months ago, I gave a talk at ACSM in Washington, D.C. at the Fitness Summit. If you know what the Krebs cycle is, give me a thumbs up in the chat. I want to see how many people know what it is before I move on. Remember the Krebs cycle back when you got certified as a personal trainer? The Krebs cycle. If you don't know, it's fine because I'm going to show you what it is. So at ACSM, I wanted to have somewhat of a scientific. So I said, what's the Krebs cycle? And here's what I did. Remember, I put a very, very basic prompt. What is the Krebs cycle? ChatGPT gave this back to me. It's a good definition of Krebs cycle, but I think it's probably a little too complex for the average person. So I said, you're a personal trainer. Explain the Krebs cycle. The client is the audience and has no knowledge of the Krebs cycle. So here is what ChatGPT gave back to me when I asked it to be a little more specific and make it a lot more easy to understand. And if you look right here, I love this. To simplify the explanation, let's imagine you have a car. The Krebs cycle is the engine that powers the car. The fuel is the food. So it actually knew when and how to give it some sort of example within the actual text. Now, again, let's take a look at some of the things that I could do with that. So remember, I'm asking what the Krebs cycle is. This time I said, you're a doctor giving an academic presentation to other doctors. Give me medical explanations of the Krebs cycle. Now, if you look at this text, you will see that it is a little bit more advanced. Remember, I only changed a couple of words in that prompt. And you'll see at the bottom there, the continue generating. ChatGPT has a limit. So if you asked it to give, I don't know how long the limit is, but it'll stop. And then you have to hit this continue generating. And you hit that, it will give you the rest of whatever you asked it to do. So if you were asking it, for example, give me 5,000 words on a blog post on golf fitness, it may stop at 4,000. You have to hit the continue generating button, and it'll continue that. If you don't like the response, you can hit regenerate, and it'll give you a brand new, without having to go up and retype it, give you a brand new response. So I do this for papers that I write or blog posts. I'll put it in here. I'll read what it says. Remember, I will make sure I will verify the facts that are in there if they are in fact true. And then if I don't like it, I regenerate it. And sometimes I'll regenerate just to get more ideas and use it as a brainstorming tool. For those that came on later on, this PowerPoint slide deck that I'm showing you, I used ChatGPT to create it. So what would have taken hours, it took me 15 minutes to do, to start at least and give me a good framework for this. So it can definitely save you some time. Now, this time I said, define the Krebs cycle like Shakespeare would. I was curious if it would, and actually it did. Hark, good gentlefolk, and then thine ears. You read this, and that's, this is kind of interesting. So, if you are doing some sort of workshop with your clients, and say it's around the holidays, and you could say, write this blog post like Santa would, or write this blog post like Christopher Columbus, whoever. it has the ability because it knows who it is and it knows what the writing style is. So then I said, all right, let's try one more. Define the Krebs cycle like this guy would. And it did. Look, yo, listen up, I got a tale to tell. So it can go from a very, very high level, like I did with the doctors. It can go to, from a personal trainer's perspective of explaining to a client with that little, remember the engine analogy. And it can also do some really weird and crazy things like Shakespeare or Snoop Dogg. So when I was preparing this webinar, I said, I want to come up with 50 ways to use ChatGPT as a personal trainer. Now, I could have sat here and I could have brainstormed myself, and it would have taken me a couple of hours. But what did I do? I went to ChatGPT and said, give me 50 ways that a personal trainer can use ChatGPT in their business. And here's what I got. So it gave me social media. So look at, here are 10 things. You could generate posts to motivate and inspire followers. So if you're using social media, one of the things that I do, if you follow me on Twitter, at Ted Vicky, is I send out a motivational tweet every day at, I think it's at 7:50 a.m. So I can go in there and say, give me 365 motivational quotes for personal trainers running the business. It'll do it. And then I can take that list of 365 tweets. It'll come as a CSV file. I upload it to my Twitter account, and then my entire motivational tweet quotes for the year are done. And it takes less than 20 minutes. You can develop fun fitness challenges, engage followers. You can do workouts on TikTok. You can develop hashtags for marketing campaigns. Some of these newer tools out there. So one of the things I will do with this video when I'm done is I will take this, I will upload it to a service that uses AI, and it will break down into 1 minute or less clips of this webinar, but it'll take the ones that it thinks are the most important. Now, I've done that in the past, and I know my friend Danny is on here, and Danny does a lot of video editing. To take an hour and to go back and do that, you're looking at probably 3-4 hours to do. I can now do it in a matter of 30 seconds. So it'll even, do other things like create blog posts, explanations of exercises, articles that you can write. One of the things as personal trainers, and I talked about this yesterday in a class I was teaching. One of the things I think that some of us aren't very good at is to stay top of mind with our clients. So one of the things that I do is I do a blog post and I do a newsletter, and I have changed, and I'm using ChatGPT as a source for that information. And now I can go in and have my blog post ready to go. I can create my newsletters, and it makes it easy. So those that are, if you're following me, if you're on this webinar, I will put you on that email list, and you will see how I use ChatGPT with the newsletters and the blogs. But it can be as specific. This is a little bit more advanced, but creating search engine optimization friendly content, it'll do that for you. It will create workouts. Now, this has become a bone of contention for some personal trainers, and people have asked me, well, does it mean that ChatGPT is going to replace a personal trainer? I have two answers for that. The first one is, if a piece of technology is going to change, if it's going to replace you as a personal trainer, then it probably should, because we're more than just this. There's a word before trainer, it's the word personal. So that is what we are hired to do, is to have that engaging piece of it. Now, think about it. I'm of the age where when I had to come up with workouts, I referred to books, I referred to magazines, and that's how I started to create my little library of exercises. It's no different here, and that's what we're actually doing with this. It's just a new tool. And think back to when, let's say, QuickBooks entered the accounting field. Everyone thought, well, there are going to be no more accountants. Well, what it did was it actually shifted. So instead of the accountants actually doing the work of tax preparation, you now have people that put the information in, and the accountants became the gatekeepers of the data. So I think that's one of the things that's going to happen with personal training. So you're going to be getting a lot of data. You have a lot more free time because you're not writing these blog posts or doing all sorts of other things. You'll have that time to spend with your clients. You can do marketing plans with ChatGPT. Write ads for Google, Facebook, testimonials. This is a great one. So you have a tool of testimonials. You ask your clients, hey, will you give me a testimonial? You can take what they write, put it through ChatGPT, and it will enhance the testimonial. I always send it back to the client and say, hey, this is what I want to write. Do you approve it? And 9 times out of 10, they say yes. Catchy taglines. I'm going to show you an example here. I actually wrote a book about a month ago using ChatGPT. There's some tricks on how you can do that, but it actually wrote a book for me on how personal trainers can use technology in their business, and some miscellaneous things. So you can write a frequently asked question for your website, scripts for podcasts. So I could have actually scripted everything I was going to say here. I could have actually read off the screen. I don't like doing that. I like going real time. You can do across the channels for your social media. Content for virtual fitness challenges. I asked for 50. I could have asked for 500, and it would have given me 500. So I think you can see that this is an actual very, very powerful tool. And what I'm going to do now is go live. Those of you that give presentations know that sometimes going live can be a huge problem. So let me set this up. I'm going to go to ChatGPT. While I do that, I want someone in the room to send a chat message to me of, let's do, we're going to write some blog posts. So give me a theme for blog posts. Give me an overarching theme, and I will show you how we can do that using ChatGPT. So just type in there what you want. As I pull up my ChatGPT, I'm looking at Drusilla Ann. Do you see my ChatGPT screen? Give me a thumbs up if you do. Perfect. She sees it. Okay. Let's do, anyone have something they want me to show them when it comes to a theme for a blog post? Okay, let's do give me 10 titles for a blog post about exercise around the holidays. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is sometimes ChatGPT can be, there are a lot of people using it, like now. So it'll come up, here are the titles, the 10 different titles, and you'll notice that it is adding some humor to the titles, like exercise and eggnog. So there are 10 possible titles. How long did it take? 10 seconds. What's your favorite? Someone give me a number that they like there. What number do you like? Give me one that you like. We'll do, let's do number 3. Everyone likes exercise and eggnog. Okay, so let's say you are a personal trainer. Remember, this is the prompt, so I want to be as specific as I can here. Who trains teenagers, right? A blog post using number 3 as the title. Let's see if it does this. Exercise and eggnog. Look, it actually bolded the title of the blog post. Here it is, folks. It's writing the blog post real time as we sit here and look at it. It is actually bolding the different headings. So it was smart enough to know that. So it'll keep going. One of the things that you notice, and I would suggest is sometimes you can tell if the text is from ChatGPT, so it'll use words like moreover or in conclusion. So I go through there and I make sure that those words aren't there. And I actually, there it is, in conclusion. I knew it was coming. I have a certain writing style, so I can actually take some of the blog posts that I've written in the past. So I'll go to my ACE website and I'll pull some of those, and I will define my writing style. So I'll put in there and say, using these 4 blog posts, this is the style of TED. And then I want to write a blog post. I'll say, using TED's style, write a blog post. So it'll go through here. Now, I could go in here and say, write this like Shakespeare would, or Stoop Dog, and it'll do that, right? So if you just go in there and define it, it can do that for you. So let's take a look. That's a pretty good blog post. I'd be happy putting that up on a website that I had for a blog to share with people, put it in a newsletter. It's not bad. I would go through and run it through my Grammarly to make sure that everything is right about that. But now let's say take the blog post and create 5 tweets. So taking the blog post we just wrote, and it is now creating tweets that you can share with your audience. Even giving you some emojis. So one of the things that I think about, when I was back at the White House, one of the things that really helped me grow was I realized that how much my hourly rate was. So if let's just assume it was $200 an hour. Well, if I am cleaning the toilets, I'm paying someone $200 to do that. And that mindset shift allowed me to really expand my company. And I think this is something for you that you can do as well. So how many minutes, how many hours does it take you to do some of the things that ChatGPT can do? Sometimes it'll do all of it. Sometimes it'll do a piece of it, like a brainstorm, like we talked about earlier. But it will save you time and effort that allows you to, 1, be on the floor with more clients, or 2, learn more things about tools like this, other tech tools that you can use as a personal trainer to grow your business. So I want to open it up to questions and answers. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. I'm going to go back here and I can say, create a 30-day social media calendar for the blog post. And here's the social media calendar. Day 1, day 2, it would go through and do all that. So Rob asked, how do you do the video editing? Rob, there's a plugin that you use, another service. When I do the when I do it later on today, I will make sure I email you. Well, everybody, I'll email you the tool that I use. It's pretty slick. Do you use ChatGPT app on your phone? So the phone or the desktop? Danny, I prefer using the desktop because it's easier to copy and paste things over. So what I would do with this, I would take everything that we just wrote, the blog post, the tweets, now the social media plan, I copied into Word. I do 2 things there. The one, I go through and I make sure that I use Grammarly, which is a great tool that I pay for. Make sure that it is grammatically correct, all the punctuations and everything. And then harder to do on a phone, but I have, like when I was with Bob Herrig, I used my phone to give an example. So you can use it for certain things on the phone, but I would think using it on a laptop or a desktop can be a little bit easier to do, having a keyboard as opposed to using your thumbs to type. So great question, Danny. Thanks for that. Any other questions? Would you like to see something else? Oh, you know what? Let's do this. We're personal trainers. So let's say you are a personal trainer. You train high school swimmers. Create an 8-week workout for a swimmer and include stretching. Let's see what it does. So this is actually including the swimming aspect to it, as well as some stretching. Now, Any coaches out there? I swam for years. I'm looking at this 8-week plan, and I'm impressed. I mean, this is something my coach would have us do. But it took a matter of seconds for it to write it. Here it's going through weeks 5 and week 6. I'm going to let it go through there because I want to show you how that regenerate works. So somebody asked the question, introducing us to students. As I mentioned earlier, I am a college professor, and I actually have assignments where I want my students to use ChatGPT. Because think about it. I think back when I was at the White House. If I had a tool that my staff could use that saved them time, effort, and actually saved me money, I want them to use that. I'm of the age where I remember, before the iPhone came out, I learned how to type on a typewriter, ASDF, JKL, semicolon, right? And then these computers came out. Everyone thought, well, the world's going to change. They have these computers, and we're not going to have jobs anymore. Yes, we do. We just found new jobs with it. And then, I'm so happy I did my PhD later in life, because there's no way that I could have gone and done everything I did, going to a library and pulling actual magazines out and photocopying them. In fact, for my master's and PhD, I think I went to the library twice. Everything else I did online. So it is a very, very powerful tool. So I think it was Danny asked the question. I actually introduced this to my students because I want them to know how to use this. So here's that workout that we did. I have a screen over here, which I'm pointing to. I didn't like that, so I hit regenerate. And without doing anything else, it's going to regenerate. You see there on the left-hand side, 2 of 2. So you can still have access to your first one. Now it's doing another workout for you. I think we have a couple more questions here. Can you use biometrics data and predict where clients should be over time? It's a good one, Rob. We'll try that. Type in chat some of the biometrics data that you want to, and we'll put it in there and see what ChatGPT says. So I'm going to stop generating here. I'm going to say that was a better response. Now remember, I asked it for a workout with stretching. I could go back there and say, now add some strength training. As specific as I could be in that prompt, that's what that answer is going to give back to me. So any other ways that you want to see how ChatGPT can work? Rob, I'll take that if you want to put that in there, the biometrics. I'm trying to think of what it could be like. Well, let's do this. Let's create a plan for walking. So create a walking plan for a sedentary, not sedentary. You know what? Know how to spell it? Couch potato. Starting with 2,500 steps per day and end the 8-week program with 10,000 steps per day. I want to try something new here. Put the results in a column format and read up to the. Now I purposely put 10K steps because I want to see if it actually knows this. So let's see what it does. Oh, wow, look at that. It did the column, increasing my 500 steps a day. And it's actually giving you some notes there that you can send back to the client. That's pretty powerful. Those of you that watched my video, when I actually wrote, I wanted to know if it knew location. So I said, you're a personal trainer, a golf fitness personal trainer in Pittsburgh, and it actually used golf courses in Pittsburgh. And I said, that's too good to be true. I said, now you're in San Diego, and it did that. So, the thing about this is this changes every day. So last week I would have done this webinar and it would have been totally different because things are happening every day and new tools are coming out. So it's quite amazing. I'm conscious of time, and this was just the introduction, folks. This was a way for us to engage here, to talk about ChatGPT at a very simple level. But I'm going to host more of these as we go along. I'm going to send out a little survey afterwards, and you can let me know what you like to see. And we could get together like this more frequently and just kind of brainstorm, because I really think being able to work smarter, not harder, using tools like ChatGPT can save you time, which allows you to make more money as a personal trainer. So I will save this video and I will make it accessible to you. I created a little checklist on guide to using ChatGPT. And I want to guess how I made it? ChatGPT. I actually used ChatGPT to find this picture. So, I'm looking down at this, and I've done these before. Found that picture for me there. This would have taken me 2 hours to do. I did it about 15 minutes. So very, very powerful stuff. All right. So I want to thank everyone for being here. You can follow me on Twitter at TedVicky. Find me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with you. I'll put that in the email that I send. And I also will sign you up for the newsletter. If you want to learn more, feel free. There's always a way for you to unsubscribe. I don't take it personally. It just means I'm not at the right time at the right place for you. So I will also send this out to everybody. So I wish you the best rest of your day. Thanks for being here, and be disruptive.